Yeah, good morning, everybody. You are all welcome to the first edition of KTAAM Islamic Finance Training Series. Just earlier introduced myself actually on the platform. My name is Mohammed Kabiru Adisaya, and I'm a certified Sharia scholar, auditors, and advisor. And I actually said on the platform that the essence of actually this training is for us to uh, as Muslim actually take the rightful position as far as Islamic finance is concerned. There are one opportunity that are bound there, and with this training, I actually want us all to put all put our mind there. Ask no question. No question is stupid. No question is irrelevant because the objective is for us to actually understand this concept called Islamic finance, so that at the end of this 5 week actually training, we will be able to stand and be able to conveniently, discuss about Islamic finance and now take the next vote that yes, we want to actually now become actually a professional as far as Islamic finance is concerned. You agree with me? As at the moment we have five Islamic banks as far as Nigeria is concerned, but more are still coming because opportunities are bound. Nigeria at the moment, they were able to actually to stay afloat even as a country, by way of embracing Islamic finance. And maybe I should take the opportunity to first share even another good news. It was just 2 days ago that the NUC even approved that Islamic finance, even put specifically that Islamic economics and finance as a course, as a degree course now, can now be offered by Nigeria University. At any university that which university is set now, effectively 25-26 session, they can actually start because of the opportunity that are abound. The whole world now is turning to Islamic finance, and Nigeria being the giant of Africa, we should always take the lead. So, without much ado, I welcome you to this first episode. And like I already said, whatever we do actually do understand, I want this discussion to be interactive. Let it be a two-way, because the communication is only effective when it is well received. It's not enough for me to talk for hours and then you do not grab the gist. Whatever actually we don't know, time for question and answer period, please do ask. I say once again that no question is stupid, no question is irrelevant. What is most important is that for us to actually to have a grasp of it, and as Muslim brothers and sisters, that will be able to now, stand firmly as Islamic financial professional. Once again, I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Are you all with me? Let me share my screen so that we can actually be already. All right, it's already passed. You are welcome. I will enjoy all that once the program actually starts. For us to really enjoy it, let's all munch, our mic so that there won't be any interruption. Whatever any question actually we have, let's be jotting it down. So that by time, by design, this program is going to take actually 2 hours, but subject to 10-15 minutes actually a degree of actually freedom, depending on the question and answer. Well, I will try as much as possible to stop after I've suspended at least an hour 30 minutes, so that we have enough time for us to ask our questions, and so that we'll have a good grasp of what Islamic finance is all about. As you know, today we are starting from the introductory aspect we are starting from, so that this is going to be the foundation. That is why I don't want us to keep any question that one question is stupid. No question is irrelevant. Let's feel free. What is most importantly is that they are communicating for the commission to be effective, and can only be effective if it is well received, by the rest. Let me share my screen.
Someone's hand is raised.
Okay. All right. Let me listen to that. Assalamu alaikum. I understand somebody is raising up his hand. Do you want to comment before we start the program?
Okay. Wa alaikum salam.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Sorry. Okay. I'm mute already, so now I can be able to speak. That's why I just raised my hands up. I'm okay now, sir.
You are okay. All right. Thanks so much. Our chief admin. Are you there? We want to share our screen.
You don't have access to share screen?
Well, it's something just no. That's what I'm wondering.
Okay, well, I'll just do it from and
all right, okay.
Let me know when to move sides.
Okay, sure. Let me cancel my own.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum. So your voice is not loud.
Okay, let me see. Assalamu alaikum. Is it better now? The voice, is it better now?
Very well. Yes, okay,
okay, good. Yes. Because I just increased the volume here. All right, thank you. Admin, am I free to go? Okay.
Yes, if you can see my screen, then I think that's all you are seeing my screen, right? Or you were seeing this?
The screen we were sharing before is not actually there again.
No, I can go back to it. It's just because I can't do both. So I can't unmute myself when I'm sharing the screen.
Right. Okay, go back to the screen so that we can start. We are already 15 minutes behind schedule. Assalamu alaikum. It's KTAAM Islamic Finance actually a training series. This is the first episode we are starting with. And basically what we are discussing today is on the we are looking at actually the fundamental actually principle of basically Sharia is the one guiding the principle of Islamic finance. We all hear Sharia Sharia just means the Islamic law. And as professionals, that's why we won't see professionals actually using the word Sharia law, because the word is Islamic law, while the name is Sharia. And you also will agree with me that the way Allah has designed it, Almighty actually, has designed. So the presentation outline that we actually have, so that actually will be together as we actually will discuss, I just been itemized in about 6 actually. Introduction, what is Islamic finance? What are Islamic finance principles? And for us to understand, the Sharia, fully, as actually it's been as it relates to actually Islamic finance. I went for that to explain it, so that I want to we are even from this first lecture. By the time we actually were leaving it, finishing the first one, we'll be able to actually to state and say conveniently that yes, and develop more interest. That's why I take my time to actually to explain, because Sharia being an Islamic law is not only for finance, it's for the entire activity actually of Islam. We will see later how it's been actually broken down. Then also too, actually dwell on the prohibitions. That is what Sharia actually prohibits before institution can be regarded as carrying out an Islamic actually finance activity. Then itemize the basic difference between Islamic financial system and conventional financial system. We will actually agree what we have for years until 2012 in Nigeria. Conventional banking practice actually have been in practice, and we also, one way or the other, actually we also partook in that. I did over 20 years actually in the conventional banking practice there, and I see actually the way it runs, and when the opportunity and the opportunity now actually come to actually to learn Islamic finance, because I personally was among those that were opportune when I was head of foreign operation in 2001, when Deutsche Bank was trying to actually to go into Islamic finance actually in UK. They selected some of us and it actually trained us, but the training of 2 weeks, 3 weeks thereabout actually is not enough for one to stand as a professional. But they just assume then, because it has to do with international operation. That's why they assume that, okay, those who are international and they are Muslims, but we need further training. So next slide, please. So by way of introduction, relating to actually the principle that we want to discuss, the first actually item actually I discussed actually we'll be hearing that issue of riba, usury, and the rest, and I'm sure actually all of us, one way or the other, will have actually been hearing that Islam prohibits taking of usury, taking actually riba, and it's not new too that there are some people too actually, even during the time when the prophet actually was actually around, a lot actually of people there that were even, should I say, recalcitrant, actually trying to actually to equal that there's no difference between riba and profit. Allah say you only enjoy trading where you forbid riba. But others just feel that is it not just to change the way the world actually riba to profit, then it has actually stand, and but Allah said no. And you, at the end of the day, at the end of this session, you will see that yes, there are differences actually between the two, because I will show you the way of actually making profit as far as Islamic finance, banking and finance is concerned, and the way profit actually being generated actually in the conventional bank, so that we can be able to see that it's not just a matter of just changing the nomenclature, that this is interest is just changed to profit. By way of us actually having something for record and be able to talk professionally, the interest, there are two ways actually you can actually engage actually in riba. You can engage in riba by just borrowing money. Islam recognizes actually riba money as a means of exchange only, just for us to actually to exchange, not a commodity. But as far as a conventional bank is concerned, they see it as a commodity. That's why they believe that once they give any individual actually money, put interest in there, and they said in the month time or 2 months time, this is the amount I'm collecting from you. Whether you succeed in that business or you don't succeed, they are less concerned. But because Allah Almighty actually wants, you don't want somebody to have an edge over others. They want actually, you want the peace in the society, which is the main objective of Mokosi Sharia, which is objective of we call it objective of Sharia. But actually in Arabic they call it Mokosi. Well, we'll go to, I will talk about that one briefly. The first item I'm discussing actually the history, which is, and I said that history, that's riba, can be divided into two. If it has to do actually with money, they call it riba al-nasiya, and if it has to be goods, it's called riba al-fadli. And some of us will have actually heard, or some will be hearing actually newly. During that time, he mentioned that, so that's why Islam does not support trade by barter, except because one way or even the basic economics too, okay, what are the challenges? They will see that, double coexistence of one. Some people will have an edge because you can't actually be able to divide. But Rasulullah, following the junction of Matala said that, well, if there are 7 ribawi transactions, gold, currency, dates, barley, wheat, and the rest, that if you must exchange them, you exchange them for actually equal value, which is what actually it was Umar bin Khattab that narrated that what said, the battle of gold or silver is riba. That if actually, how do you want to determine the quantity of gold and the quantity of actually silver? That if you must do that, then you have to be doing at hand, from hand to hand, equal amount and equal applicable. That if you must change which, or you want to change value, it has to be equally, and the Holy Quran, Quran 2 verse 12, specifically prohibited that Allah says he has permitted trade, but he forbids usury. Next slide. Then the next item that is actually, one of the basic actually principles also of Islamic finance is gambling, which is Islamic word, actually Arabic word is called meza, because it's speculation. We will have actually seen that people that actually are engaged in gambling is a game of chance. There's no activity. Somebody will just be predicting. It's most likely it's this number that will win this week, and at the end of the day, you will see that somebody gains and the other actually loses. But Almighty Allah specifically, because Almighty Allah actually wants good for us, and as I said, the objective of Sharia actually is that for us to have a better society where we promote equity, justice, and fairness. And that is why Almighty Allah actually specifically in the Holy Quran, Quran 5 verse 90, that all you believe, intoxicants, gambling, abomination of Shaitan's handwork, eschew abomination that ye may prosper. That for us to, for us to have barakah in what we are doing, and for us to be prosperous in this world and the hereafter, we should actually ensure it. I'll come back to intoxicants later because they are part of what, I think you can see that it's part of what is being prohibited. But I just want us to have the basic, what are those Islamic actually principles that on which Islamic financially stand, and it will now dovetail to those provisions. Once you actually understand actually the principle actually behind this provision actually of you don't engage actually in riba, you don't engage in speculation, gambling and the rest. Then the third item which is actually important is gara, which will be referred to as uncertainty. I will also see that both gambling and gara actually are a bit actually related, but what I will discuss further, you will see that basically, gara actually go beyond that. It go in a situation where 2 or 3 parties actually engage actually in a business transaction, but one party actually had more information than the other one. which give that person as an edge, and Almighty actually enjoy. Also as it's being practiced, actually enjoying that. If two people are actually going to act to contract, whoever actually want to display a particular activity, all information the other party should have, so that that person will be taking an informed decision, on that particular activity. Nobody must have an advantage over the others, because that's actually referred to actually as cheating. The word gara, that is any transaction that you are engaging in, that is, you now have element of actually uncertainty actually there, that you cannot, it not become a game of chance. I'll give actually details, but just to clarify actually part of actually some of the examples that you have. For example, somebody indicate and they ask that, yeah, I want to buy, we want to sell a house. The house is already standing, whether it's going to be a bungalow, whether it's a 4-story or 2-story. But however, that person actually wasn't there when the house started from foundation, But some people actually will need to speculate sort of and say, okay, whether by way of soil or by something like that, say, okay, or whatever they see or document, okay, this could be whether the house foundation is well fortified or not, speculation, because at that point in time you can't verify it, But to an extent, because somebody has given you actually, a better, whether we document as a professional, that okay, this foundation actually is okay, I've done the soil test and everything, but you can't see it physically. Islam, to an extent, that's why when we are saying gara, certain gara, that society have been allowed, and as far as Islamic finance is concerned, but it's excessive one that will really affect the contract itself, that will make somebody actually have more edge actually over the other that has been excluded. That's why we see the word when we say we're excluding gara, we say the excessive one. Gara can be divided into two. We have the minor one, medium one, and actually the medium one, which is the excessive one. So I will go into that detail later, but for us to also have an idea, what gara actually be. That is uncertainty. There are instances where somebody actually wants to sell it. They want to sell actually a tree, but that tree has fruit actually in it. But you can't know whether, because it fruit very well last year, what gives you an assurance the kind of party, because it depends on nation. You get that detail. But just know that once there is uncertainty, that's excessive, Sharia prohibited. Then Almighty went further, just like actually we've seen that in Quran 5, 1990, which you have mentioned that intoxicant, and gambling. Allah say there's certain trade that you should not engage in as actually a Muslim, and must not even be financed as far as Islamic finance is concerned. A company that is engaging actually in alcohol production, in gaming, that is related to actually gambling, betting, and everything, or pork production, and scientists have told us that when you look at the health implication, that pork is a dirty animal and everything, but because Allah wants the best for us, He wants actually the best actually for society, which is what major actually one of the major actually objectives of Makosi Sharia, which I was Sharia. I want to create a better society. Next slide, please. All right. So coming out actually from that, the basic actually understanding as far as actually principle that guide this, for us to go into to have our idea what is, if we want to define an Islamic finance, how do we want to define it? But we realized that when I started actually from the 4 principles that guide it, and if you also want to actually now define it, you have to actually encompass all those actually items, so that the person you are passing that information to will actually understand that yes, we are discussing Islamic finance. Simply put, I said Islamic finance can be defined as that system of financial system which operates in accordance with Islamic law, which is called Sharia, as said by the Almighty in the Holy Quran. But however, that's why we have the Sharia as a law. But after Sharia, we now have actually fiqh, which shows actually deeper understanding, that is explaining what Sharia, providing the legal backing, the principle actually to that particular Sharia, actually we have, which is actually fiqh. And as time goes on, now actually we're going to show you, the subdivision of actually fiqh and the division that now relates to Islamic finance. As actually Muslim, will have actually started apps as ordained by Omatella actually are compulsory that whether you like it or not, actually you must engage it. They actually fall under actually people ibadah. Well, that is your relation between man and Almighty Allah. Almighty Allah has enjoined us that we have 5 pillars actually of Islam. When you believe in oneness of God, the next actually you now we want to pray. You must actually be able to fast during the month of Ramadan. Then you want to actually be able to now pay zakat when you have actually the means. Once your money actually is up. And the last one that once you have actually means, you must go for actually women. There are things that come under the ibadah. There are things that come under relationship between man and other creation. So that's where we now have actually fiqh muamalat, but they are still broken down into three. But we'll go into that detail later, just for us to be able to have an idea. Just mention that. And I said, from this side, I said, fiqh muamalat give that legal guidance to Islamic finance, because this is the one among all the fiqh actually we have, in the various branches that give that legal banking to actually to Islamic finance, and the principle, that actually have okay, concerning actually entail that Islamic finance does not want a decision where somebody will just give you money and in a month's time you say, okay, I want to collect, I'll give you 100,000 naira. I'm collecting the 110,000 without any activity. Islamic say no. Let's engage in trading. Let's come together. Let's come actually into partnership. I know the next slide actually we are going to the next episode will be beginning on actually on the contracts, how we relate together. Islamic finance actually encourage actually profit sharing, that is profit and loss when parties come together, because we are taking risk by coming together. We are taking risk because nobody knows. Because just to digress a bit, some of us will have actually come across in the Surah to Luqman, where Allah said, verse 34, we have who actually going to ask Rasulullah and say, okay, if you are a friend of Allah, tell us the day when we engage in a trade and we profit. But among the 5 items Allah listed in the Holy Quran, and Rasulullah tell them these 5 things. So nobody knows whether a rain, will fall, whether somebody actually a pregnant woman will give birth to a male child, and another one that nobody know whether the trade is engaging in going to be profitable tomorrow or not. It depends actually on my child. So that's why we are taking risk. But you take parameters that yes, based on what accident that we have done it before. That's why we actually assume and everything. So but we are taking risk. As we are taking risk, we should be able to accept, if there is profit, we share it. If there is loss, we share it together. And Islamic finance also promotes real economic activity, because there is no activity as far as Islamic finance is concerned that will just give out money. There must be, an asset that will back that transaction. Just by way of actually digressing, when by the time we get to explaining what Moraba, somebody want to finance, you need actually money. There is going to be a product, that will be disposed. It is the proceeds of that product, that will be credited to the restaurant. You don't be that somebody will just approach bank and the bank now say after filling form and all this something, without really mindful of whatever you want to actually do something. Just okay, I'm collecting 10,000 naira on top of the 100,000. There must be economic activity, but that will be explained in detail by the time we get to actually to contract financing, and the rest. And from what the principle we have actually alerted above to, we'll see that ethical investment have been actually been encouraged, which is anything that will be injurious to the society, be it weapon, be it alcohol. That after somebody get drunk after something, that person will lose his sense of actually reasoning, and weapon of mass destruction, except for we are states, being legalized to say, okay, yes, we want to use it to defend ourselves, but to just make something, easily available, we are little provocation before people actually has started Islam says we prohibit that. The next slide, please. Before going further, just to ask, am I communicating? Are you with me?
No.
All right,
Yes,
thank you.
sir.
All
MashaAllah.
right,
MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
alhamdulillah. All right. Okay. Actually said that Islamic finance actually promotes economic activity, profit making, risk carrying, and the rest, and social science. But for our knowledge sake, because I want a decision where, just like I said, by the time we are leaving even this first series, we should be able to standardize. I know basic principle and be able to even talk as professional to some people. You know, when it's only when we start going to detail Sharia standard and everything, might not be able to actually do after this training for you to be able to answer basic questions. You know, as far as Islamic finance, for us to now really know what Islamic finance actually entails. Islamic finance can be basically divided into three broad headings. That's actually we have Islamic commercial finance, we have Islamic social finance, and you have the Islamic development finance. The first one, which is the commercial finance, which is what the umbrella of the Islamic finance we want to discuss. But by the time actually we actually have that, you see that one is being broken down into various already. We have Islamic banking, Islamic capital market, and Takafu. You know, one relate to bank, one relate to actually capital market, you know, and the other one relate to actually to. But I won't want to go into more explanation now, so that for us to be to see that so that I won't waste much time. But for banking, we've seen that interest is not being allowed. For capital market, actually, that what we want to see here, we want to raise large amount of money. But meanwhile, Sharia provision, you can't actually, you know, subscribe to say you want to go and buy shares of banks that are engaging in alcohol or pork production, or their major business is any interest, you know. But their Sharia, you know, scholars went further to start doing screening, you know, for all those stock and everything. But those details will come later. There's also Takafu too. We'll have seen that conventional insurance that we normally have. You see that conventional insurance that we normally have. You just okay, whether it's car or want to do life insurance. You know, the insurance bank, the insurance company that you go to, they just assume that this is I'm going to insure you. Okay, insure your vehicle or your whether it's your life or something, which is still subject to actually, you know, uncertainty, because nobody can insure anybody's life. But they are just three parameters that eventually you die, I'm going to give you that. But basically, because it's interest related as far as conventional is concerned, what they do actually is that they collect premium from you. Even some of them as soon as they actually end the premium, they already go to their pool. So they will be paying, nothing happens. So that when you will say you a peril occur, that is you want to, you know, instead of we want to actually start to end a claim, you now start seeing certain clauses you are not aware. But when we come to under Takafu, because it's something that embrace peaceful coexistence, that whoever is putting money down under Takafu, you are an investor. At that point, you are the one that hold money that you are giving to that actually to the operator, which is Takafu actually company. But they only just want them to actually to help you to manage it. And there are various variants concerning that one, whether we want to do it actually under as an agent, that the agent for you will give them commission, be your agent. When people, you know, 2 or 3 or more people come together, you call it under Islamic call it called KTAAM. That is, you cooperate to donate. That if anything happens to any of us, part of my money can be used to sell the support. However, if nothing happens, that money will keep on growing. We will just be giving the Takafu company whether a share of the profits you earn or give them commission, which is different from what operate under as far as professional insurance is concerned. But that details of that one will be discovered by the time we get to contract. So just for us to have an idea of what. Then Islamic social finance too. We'll have actually more about the hearing. You know what social finance. What social finance actually is that those that relate to Sadaka and Waqf. Without much ado, we already know that those whose money has gotten to Nizab, they must pay zakat. The Sadaka, all of us, for us to appreciate the goodness, what Allah has done in our life, that is doing, and everybody who actually, you know, we enjoy to pay Sadaka, to appreciate, you know, that what you think that you have is not enough. There are others, you know, that does not even have up to half of what you have, you know, and they are still grateful for. For you also that are around you appreciate Allah by actually be able to know, give Sadaka either to individual directly or you give to organization that manages. As far as not so as concerned, we have Nazars, you know, which actually handle the issue of zakat. And Waqf, by Waqf, what have been actually an endowment, it's possible that this might be strange to some of us that might actually know that is done in this particular field. But Waqf simply put is called an endowment. What simply means that as an individual, you can decide to say, okay, yes, I have a particular property, and I say, okay, yes, I want to leave it, put it down to promote the cause of all material, and there are conditions that relate to that particular bill, because once you donate, you can't collect it back. Rasulullah was the first person that did it when he got to Medina. That was his mosque. The first person that did it was Uthman when he bought the well, from the Jew, and as it is now, the well is still standing and serving the various women. And Rasulullah told us that when the man died, from the sins of the Prophet, when the man died, 3 things that all your deeds stop, but 3 things will remain. What are those things? He said your pious children or child that is praying for you, the act of charity that you did, which is what you are for onto, you understand? And those who have actually imparted a particular knowledge, whether by trade or by way of actually academic exercise, actually you train somebody, and that person is using that particular activity actually to earn a living. So long as that person is deriving benefit, you would have originated this because it's still sustainable. You continue to actually earn barakah. These are the things that will be coming as reward for you actually in the hereafter while you are great, because you can't do anything on the day of actually KTAAM. Then development finance actually said that organization countries actually come together, as actually actually enjoy that. What you enjoy, Rasulullah said no to you will enjoy that. You should be doing that constitution. Your companions, I have given you actually this mandate, but you need to be related to it, because individual that be able to now do there are certain knowledge which I did not give you, but through brainstorming together, which is say Rama, when we do something collectively, you understand, we earn more reward. Apart from reward from we even achieve more results, which is what you also explain in management, which you call synergy effects. That the teamwork will enjoy, and you get more reward in teamwork than individual effort, and be able to add, because there are some people that will be good in certain things. By the time you leave them alone, because there's nobody to complement them, you see that what they will achieve is low. But you that can stand alone, you achieve more. By the time they do an average altogether, you see that. But where we work together, where you don't know, you that know about that person will be able to communicate, and which was Islam encourage that part. And those banks, the country come together. For example, Islamic Development Bank, that is in Jeddah. Countries, Nigeria has benefited in the last 2 years. This present government administration, they've been given actually a grant, because what their own is that it's not, they use the bank use their own credibility, because they can put resources together and get cheaper loan. Some of them have been seeing Sukuk, which is part of instruments we use at the Islamic capital market. They have this, and by the time they actually have this, they raise money. I recall sometime, is it after COVID, when Islamic development want to raise 1 million euro, they just set that they want to have $30 billion actually sustainable finance to assist members country. Nigeria is among the member of actually OIC, another country too. All these who are actually the GCC country, another that are not under GCC. They have data. What they will get use, their actually credibility, their financial stand to get mobilized fund from the public. It can be institution, it can be individual, actually by way, it can be corporate. They get money, they can get money as low as 0.2%. And because the money they get actually is for development. Instead of Nigeria actually going to Sudan and say, I want to go and meet IMF and be getting money at 6%, 10%, 40%. Somebody is giving you money at less than 1%. Even there's still money that will be given to you by way of grants. But just for you to explain what we use it. Is that something that you are using the money for? Is it beneficial to the masses? Which is just the objective. So once you have that, so that's what development finance actually stand for, because they are quickly for the fund economic prosperity and social development, because it's as even some will not, even they try to mobilize, because members really pay subscription. You might not even collect it by being a member. You won't collect any money from you. You just advance to the one that this country is a member country, is lacking in this particular area. Then the next thing is for us to say, okay, how do you want to assist them? Just like those that lost their job after COVID, and the other companies that could not do everything. A lot of those money then, we give it actually Indonesia and other countries, are able actually to apply again. You say, okay, well, this money, someone might say, this money I will give you as current loan that you will return back to us. There are some that say, okay, well, okay, the 0.205% actually you need to pay. But their own objective is that they want those companies to stand back and not fail. And there are instances where they have certain homes. So that's what development finance is all about. Next slide, please. Further, because I've actually discussed this without actually opening it, so that at least we'll be able to now, but just what we have actually on the slide, that compliance actually with the Sharia rules, which is when you talk of those principles, what issue of riba, gambling, gara, what's sensitive, then harmful something, then academic activity, but anything that we are doing under Islamic finance must be asset back. I will explain the process. I will explain that one briefly to you what it entails. You don't approach any bank and bank just advance you another Islamic bank. Finance. There must be an asset. Economic activity actually must be involved. Then it involve both profit and loss sharing. Maybe by way of example, let me just give actually one or two contracts that comes under that. We have a mudaraba as part of the contract. I might not go into more detail because we are still going to discuss on the next episode, but just to have an idea, that under mudaraba, what that simply means is that two people or two more everything. We can even be between a bank and a customer. Just like the way a bank will come and say, well, I don't have the time, but I have this money. I'm coming to an Islamic bank. I want to partner with you. The bank will say, we have professionals who are expertise in fund management. We'll come forward. We'll bring the money. This is the money I've actually brought to, that's okay. Usually to do business, they will not share profit. It can be 60 to 40, it can be 70 to 30, it can be 80 to 20, it can be 90 actually to 10, depends actually on the agree ratio, because it's profit you are sharing, it's not everything. But however, one thing that will not be allowed actually is that because you are taking risk and the bank itself is taking risk, money must not your returns or your capital won't be guaranteed, because when you are taking risk, it could actually amount to a loss, because in any business that we are doing, loss will come and profit will come. So under that mudaraba, what you do actually, you just give money. You understand? And you ask an expertise. I say, okay, I want to give this money. I must use this actually in a profitable pension. There are instances where there are two variants. There's the type that is called resisted one, and there's one unresisted. That one will not take to the bank. You say you engage in Islamic banking, you go into trading, it's not actually interested. Okay, use my money to trade. Because I want to contribute, I want to benefit, compensate you for your expertise. This is what I'm actually giving you, for it. And peradventure, the business actually go otherwise, then you also, what you are losing is your capital, because you are the only one bearing the financial risk. But the bank will really use their time, the expertise that they are using, because they also know, because you who are partners together, they don't want you to fail. But peradventure, by act of force majeure or action beyond them, the money actually go. But however, if it's proving that bank was negligent, for them to actually for that money to have lost, under Sharia provision, you are bound to collect back your capital, but not actually the not capital and the profits that you both agree in the first place, because once loss actually occur, it shows that business actually did not go as expected. So profit that did not come, where do you want them to actually to pay you back from that? So that's the example of actually how Mudaraba actually operates. We have somebody that provide money, which is called Robuma, and the person that provides the expertise, which is called Mudari. And just for actually explaining, do something, that the profit from the pension will be shared based on our agreed ratio. And actually agree that, okay, yeah, this is what you are collecting. I'm collecting 80%, you are collecting 10%. But once you lose it, once the business is not good at everything, nobody guarantees capital for you, except if there is proving evidence of negligence on the part of the bank or the Mudari, but the expert actually you engage in. It is then that Sharia says that you must collect back actually your capital, not capital and profits. Next slide, please. I've explained this one before. Also, this sharing and promotion of ethical investment. Let's go to the next slide. All right. I want us to also listen attentively, and I believe that as we speak, we all have our paper and our pen. I want us to jot as much as possible, actually also here too, so that we'll be able to have. I took pain to actually to go into this just for us to be able to. I want you to see where after we finish this actually this fourth trading, then we'll be able to hear yes, this is what Islamic finance is all about, because in Islam, everything that we do has been, documented. We documented in the Holy Quran. The answer is not somebody who just start thinking that I think. No. Everything has been documented. Scholars have done work. Researchers actually have done work. Extract what Allah has put in the Holy Quran and what Rasulullah actually have put in the Sunnah, which is actually and the Hadith. So without mentioning, I said, Sharia and Islamic law can be defined as that command, the guidance, and the prohibition, and the principle that Allah has addressed to mankind regarding their conduct in this world that will end their salvation in the year after. Because we are told by the time we actually get to the year after, no work again. And I just quoted that I said that when a man dies, all your deeds, activity actually ends. You can't do anything again. It is whatever you have done on this earth that want to end actually reward in the year after. Then the FIQ, I said, is the one that actually provide that in legal banking. Let me actually say FIQ in Islam actually refer to understanding of issues in jurisprudence. And I explain what we mean by jurisprudence, that the theory of law, because that give that legal backing actually to that Sharia. That's what actually FIQ. And then we have people who now come out actually which we call FIQ, that explain the tools, the tools upon which those things actually rest upon. They are interrelated. By the time actually you are looking at when you just define Sharia, Allah has said that in the Holy Quran that these are the things we want to do. I do not want to prevent it, so that at the end of the day somebody will not say, there will be a loophole, say I don't know, so that it won't be giving different interpretation. People will have give deeper understanding, explain this is what it means. This is the legal interpretation of actually one. Then the tools, and in this study, maybe later at time we're talking about the legal margin that we have actually in Islam. Action will be joined according to question, which is the first one during the Hijrah made by our holy prophet Muhammad. But the others, there are about 5 of them. But I don't want to go into those things now, so that this we won't digress from this. But at later something we actually will discuss that. And I said, which I said that FIQ can be divided broadly into 2. We have FIQ Ibadah and FIQ actually Muamalat. The Ibadah won't deal with the pillars of Islam. After the Shahada, we're now talking about Salah, the rulings, which is actually junction related to this is how Salah should be performed. These are the things that take Salah. If you want to do ablution, this is what you must do, which was actually explained to us. And the ruling to Zakat, everybody, the Almighty said, whatever we do, whatever I don't give you, I cannot demand from you. But those who Allah has been bestowed, Allah bestowed you on a large profession. I say, this money I've given you, are only just be fortunate, because Allah say it's not by work, it's not anything that you do, it's just by His grace. It's just by His grace that He can actually, say you rate us as He did not put us actually equally. There are some Allah will bestow them with knowledge. There are some Allah will bestow them with riches. Well, I say those who you that have given riches, this money is not only meant for you and your family again. Alone. Part of this money, which is just a little, 1 out of 40. Out of this money, once you reach Nisabu, you must give to the least, the less privileged. And it stated those 8 categories of people in Surah Tawbah, chapter 60. So I don't want us. We'll go into that detail later. And next slide, please. So the one that actually deals with the Islamic finance that we are discussing is the FIQ Muamala, or we call FIQ Al-Ada. It has to do with actually that corresponds to the student, that the rulings that govern the relationship between Ummah and human being. We can't be trading with that matter. We as human beings can trade with ourselves, engage in economic activity, social activity, and the rest. But Allah does not want anybody to have an edge over others. He believes that for us to have a decent and a peaceful society, nobody should cheat anyone. Once somebody has element that this person is cheating me, then a lot of things will start going through that person's mind and say, yes, I'm gonna collect back my right. So that whatever we want to do, at the initial, nobody should have an edge. People should have equal, right to service your whatever you are complete that business, so that we now put that issue of jurisdiction, that legal principle. This is how it must be run. so that nobody would that the first thing must be an offer, that be acceptance. So something should not be done in secrecy. So at the end of the day, the other person will be feeling cheated that what this person has done, this person has cheated me, but Allah, as far as my position Sharia is concerned, objective of Sharia is concerned, say no. Say this something must be sorted out, which is what we want to and other creatures that Allah created too cannot just be going and say because Allah give you actually the might, you just see an animal that's gone on the way, you just carry one stone and just keep for like that. Allah say no, that's creature that actually he has actually his own life too. You don't have that. These are guidelines. You cannot just take somebody's life. Say Allah says the only one that I can kill that you while you need to. That is the only one. So those principles, those guidelines actually are there. So fiqh moment actually highlights them that those say no, you cannot. This is the way you must do, or else you will be committing sin. And I take time actually that basically that from what we actually have actually scholars actually have attended for us that the fiqh muamalat contain majority of activity. The one that relate to ibadah is just out of actually all the activity concerning to Sharia and fiqh is just about plus or minus 30%. The one that take major actually is 70%, which is why Rasulullah, from what he actually has told us, that a lot of people that we can see that accepted Islam, you will see it is being documented that it is by way the conduct, the character of Rasulullah. People know it as a mu'min, that's about being a mu'min, as somebody, a trustworthy person, that when you give him money, where I say, save keep for me, whether you are a Jew or you are a Muslim or something like that, the exact money you give to the prophet is what is going to return back to you by the time I tell you collect. You are collected by my people, you say a trustworthy person. So a lot of people from the conduct, somebody that is so generous and so benevolent, a lot of people are saying that, and you will not tell that all these characters that you see that I'm displaying, it is what Allah that made me messenger taught me. Because of that, we are accepting actually Islam. Which is why we cannot take out issue of character as far as Islam is concerned, because it's your conduct, that will actually, be able to sell Islam more than to say before the person will now say come back and say, okay, I want to start coming. But the first person wants to say, well, as a Muslim, of course, must adopt that Sharia first, But that conduct, that character, that Islam actually, highlighted that when you actually, you really embrace it. The point where I say, yes, look at this person, all the area, whatever actually people are saying that, yes, he went there to go and assist this person. He's got a particular area that they did not have water. He don't decide on his own. He built well. He said people should be no. See, I'm not collecting money. See that there are other, he has money. His neighbor, they don't have money to send their children to the school. That's why he engaged with that. I say, this person is a Muslim. That's what Islam teaches us. So a lot of people embrace Islam actually through that. So that's why that conduct, a Muslim, you can't be a shit and expect somebody actually to embrace it and say, is he not a Muslim? See that he is the one that actually duping people. So that's why as a Muslim, we must make sure that all these actually acts, has been documented. We must make sure that conduct, that good character, display it, because that's what can sell actually Islam better than somebody see you praying 5 times or somebody seeing you actually going to Hajj. And I highlighted that those about 7 to 8, of those rulings relating to other fiqh muamalat that relates to various activity. Allah enjoined us actually to do, but those scholars actually now highlight for us. The first one is fiqh relating to personal and family law. That is including marriage and divorce. We call it al-hawali shakhsiyya. I won't want to be, but you can actually put that on your own. But just for us to actually have an idea that we are blessed and fortunate for us to be Muslim. That everything that concerns our life, Allah has provided for us. Is now that's why Rasulullah said that that all of us that we are candidates for our journal, except those that refuse, because so that guideline is there for us. Then the next one I say is that the fiqh that deal with commercial transaction, which is the one that we're going to detail for, which is actually our own that deal with Islamic finance, which is called al-akam al-muhammala, that relate to various business contracts that we have, a change of actually we are buying either sale or purchase contract or engage in leasing, that we actually have or on activity. Somebody I want to drop my money I need certain amount of money. I have gold. I drop it with you. Later, when I have money, I'll come and collect back my gold from you. And those rules, so that nobody will have opportunity that to cheat another person. You see that Allah and through Rasulullah, the message you are saying, everything has been documented. It's now left for us to follow. Next slide, please. All right. Then the next people actually ruling actually will have actually is that the one that relate to the state finance, how state, whether we are Islamic finance, actually Islamic country, we have how it should be governed. We have people that relate to that, so that as Muslims we'll be able to talk that yes, confidently that all this something has been stated. Allah has given us all these rules and everything. Just for us to now decide to say, okay, this is what we're actually following. Then the one that relates to administration of justice, as far as Islam is concerned, we have Allah come al-Qadr. Then the one relating to actually the right of even the non-Muslim, those who are not Muslim, they like that you can't compare somebody. Religion should come out of, it should not be compulsion. It should be out of willingness. You understand? So because somebody is not a Muslim, does not mean that as neighbors they don't have a certain right over it. You have actually rules that relate how you should relate to your neighbors and the rest. We have actually people that say that people the right of non-Muslim. You can't say because he doesn't do Islam. The person is a human being now. You can't say because he doesn't explain Islam, then he doesn't have the right of living. No, the relation between we should have an Islamic state. I say supposing Nigeria is not an Islamic state yet. We are still as a secular state. We want to give other country, their rules actually relating to how we should relate, together. We want to have a political system as far as Islam is concerned. Some of us in Nostra will have seen that one committee or the other before we don't see that they elected them will go through Shura. It's part of actually things that Allah Rasulullah has time for that. Even Allah was one that enjoyed it before Rasulullah actually embraced that. Engage in consultation, identify people that are good so that others can support, them, and the other laws and the rest, as actually it relates to Islam, criminal law and the rest, everything has been documented. Next slide, please. All right. So now I want us to sit well again and sit there and take our pen and paper and then be able to document something. I will explain actually theory. I just decided to bring this particular illustration actually out for us to be able to that by the time we are on our own looking back at this slide or whatever we have judged before, we start to appreciate that this our Islam is a complete religion. We go into how does bank actually make their money, by way of lending, because it's only interest that they collect from us. We'll give an example that okay, SYZ Bank, for example, I think somebody actually I need that it's the customer that came to come and deposit that 100,000, for example, drop that 100,000, and bank actually realize whoever is coming to collect this my 100,000, I'm not what I'm collecting. I say what I'm the interest I'm collecting actually is 10% minimum. I want to collect also. Maybe the person that dropped the money might be giving that person 2% or 3%. But what is most important is we want to alert there is that there's no economic activity. Somebody come, a borrower come, the person actually say, okay, I'm giving you the 100,000, I give 25,000. I'm going to collect 27,500 back. No economic activity. But at the end of the day, by the time you give 1,100,000 illustration, you see that somebody was giving 25,000, another person 40,000 was giving, another person was 25,000, and the whole 100,000 complete. At the end of the day, the bank, maybe it's after 1 month or 2 months, they have 110 actually in their account. They don't even know whether the person they gave the 40,000 or 25,000 made a loss or not. There is, you must bring the money. They've seen the money is being treated as actually as a commodity. Instead of actually medium of exchange, there are no underlying asset. Just actually give it. At the end of the day, the bank has, without printing any money, they've actually created another money, which is 10,000 on top of the 100,000 somebody deposited to their account earlier. And you see that financial. That's why you see in the conventional bank, you see that conventional bank actually they are declining trillions. So they at least GT Bank started actually this year. Others are joining. They want to decline at 1 trillion profit. But whereas the economy is it's not in good shape. But with the advent of Islamic finance that is just actually coming up, because Islamic finance will promote the real activity in the economy. It won't be the money is not a commodity, it's a medium of exchange. What is that activity that we want to finance? That is primary object. So that at the end of the day, there will be production as far as the economic actually is concerned. So that's why I'm taking pain to actually to bring this picture. Next slide, please. So it's what I've actually explained, but actually earlier, that from that 100,000, 3 people have been giving money without any economic activity. Bank created another 10,000, and before through that they start increasing the money. So long as the other person return, they give to other people. You understand? But as far as actually Islamic finance actually is concerned, no, it's an economic activity. That's why even when you agree, we are doing cost plus lending, because it's a trading. We're part of the trading. That's the activity contract we have in Islam. Islamic finance in Moraba, economic activity will be involved. We sell actually an asset and everything. Peradventure, business did not go the way it's supposed to go. You still give the person. You can't even add penalty. You can't say the person is supposed to pay in a month and he's not paid. You want to start adding penalty or charge when it's not a recalcitrant actually debtor that does purposely that he has money and doesn't want to pay, because you are both sharing. You see that actually his business and money is not coming. So you see, giving time, to be able to now sort of settle yourself, and you don't need to add any penalty. As far as Islamic finance is concerned, which is what Mokosi actually try to explain to us. Next slide. So Gara, and which he said is uncertainty. I also took time because I want us to, after this, to be able to stand as actually as a professional. Said you see when we qualify it, the principle we said. One of the principles is that it does not actually allow excessive uncertainty. Certain uncertainty will be allowed, which is Gara will be allowed, because there are some that are bound to occur by nature. You don't have control actually over it. And say, and now categorize them just for us people. So that at any point in time, when you are conscious of that, in any dealing or whether you want to deal with the bank or issue that I want to explain to actually to people to say, because Islamic finance, Allah actually through is actually someone want peaceful coexistence. You don't want to see somebody who not after financial action they will not be fighting themselves. No, let there be peace. As far as something actually is concerned. So for minor one, so these are the one that whether we like it or not, they will occur interaction. For example, now somebody came to actually to rent you. You are a landlord and somebody can come and rent a house actually from you. On a monthly basis, we said the person should be paying let's say 5,000 as an example. On a monthly basis. 5,000 actually. But meanwhile, for value actually for money, there are certain months that we have the 31 days. Some are 20 to 29, some are 30. But the same month, the person will have to pay equal amount. The person will not say, it's only on 30, the one at 31 is what I'm going to pay the 5,000 naira. Your 28, I'm going to put it in, because it must happen. The contract is that actually have on a monthly basis. You cannot now say, okay, we want to start correcting it, because these are things that are bound to happen. And I explained the other one too that happened, that you have a building you want to buy. Maybe that building has been built 5 years or 10 years. At that point in time, you can't say they must demolish the building for you to see the foundation first now. You cannot, but you have to rely on speculation from an area that say, I have tested the soil or something like that, or what somebody documented before, that it was instead of using 20 pieces of cement that time, it was 100 bags of cement that the person used, and so it's a very good, but you cannot see, can't test it, but you need to allow it to let it go. Then from the medium Gara, we see that is the one that stands in between the excessive one and the minor one. These are things that also in a contract too, you can actually overlook it. For example, now we want to buy granules. When we buy granules, there's a shell. You understand? But from that shell that when they sell to us, we buy. The food inside is, some of us, by the time we open that granules, because I say this one is sweet, the other one is not sweet, we throw it out. But we've already taken risk when they are selling the granule to us. Yes, and the person saying granule, you just put everything that's in that shell, we have how much? 500 naira, we'll buy it. But it's only when we now break it and we now start eating it. Some will be very good, tasty, and the other one, but you see the vegetable. You can't say when you approach a granule seller, you say, you must open everything and say before I will buy, because he himself or herself, by the time he or she buy, they not open for him. So these are things that in normal transaction dealing, you must actually allow it and let it go. But if Islam doesn't want to send them, these are things, that you want to actually, allow it actually to go, but there are things that are bound to happen, So then when you are selling fruit too, it's nature that will determine that some have come out together, but some will ripe earlier, while some will be delayed. These are nature, but you cannot stop transaction. Next slide, please. Yeah, then the excessive one, which is the real object of Islamic, actually, the principle that the provision that we do not allow as far as Islamic finance is concerned. Once it's excessive, that you should not accept, because it's going to, whatever is going to lead to dispute at the end of the day, say no, because they are critical to that contract you are selling. I give an example here. Last year, you engage in, let's say, which fruit? Let's say it's maize, because you don't have control over it. You grow maize. And this year, you are only just assume that, last year, I was able to get 50 tons. So this year, you are only without even putting any seedling on the ground, you are budgeting that 50 tons must come out of that particular one. Or you actually have production has not taken place now. So that is gambling. You are speculating too much, because no activity. You don't even have control. It's not automatically that will determine whether even the same soil, whether it's good, the fruit you are going to come will be the same yield. One particular year, a yield will be okay. The next year, it might not be okay. Nobody can query your material. Which is why I say, anytime that yield becomes so, you have bumper harvest, that you should also, bring some out of it once you get to actually the shop, and as far as something is concerned. So doing that, say you are unnecessarily speculating, which is excessive garage, that is not allowed as far as Islamic finance is concerned. Next slide, please. Then I went into also control, because as far as Islamic concerned, I think Islamic finance is concerned, the way Allah has even blessed us, scholars have gone into research, and we have organization. A typical one, actually, the one actually we have in Bahrain. We call it IOFI, which is Accounting and Knowledge Organization of Islamic Finance. They are the one that set standard. They are the one that set actually standard, actually objective, and how the principle guiding Islamic finance, how it should be governed. But it's not binding on every country. There are some countries that say, their own Sharia standard and everything that they have actually is well enshrined. We have Sharia scholar too as well. Everything. So you just want to use your own for guidance. You understand? Your principle actually, the standard you are related to us. Where some countries will say, we are adopting you solely, not only for guidance, but as our regulator. Example is Nigeria. Well, as far as Nigeria is concerned, we don't have a separate Sharia ulama that will have said that these are the ones that will be overseeing that whatever they pronounce actually as fatwa is what we want to follow, just like what they have in Dubai. Dubai will say no, as far as IOB is concerned, it's for guidance. We will pick some of them, whatever actually the ruling actually they told us. But we have our own Sharia authority on the ground is superior to us. As far as Nigeria, I say no, we accept you solely as our regulator. So we are following you. All the standards set down to us for us. So under that particular something, we have Sharia standards, we have governance, we have auditing and control. Actually, that the standard they are based in a Bahrain. As professional, you will get to know later. They are organizations that they have various professional exams that you need to write for you to subside as their fellow. So that all over the world, you can use that in the world because they certify that you are an authority as far as Islamic finance is concerned. Among which is CSA. Yes, we have certified professional accountant as far as Islamic is concerned. Sharia. Sorry for that breaking the transmission. Just the network, just started that. As part of as regulation, they are regulator, not even to say they are just used for guidance, because they know that before each standard is even approved, several screening, public debate, people bringing different Sharia professions, whether actually by way of what is in the Holy Quran or in the Hadith, before they can approve only just one standard. So they now compile them into actually a booklet, so reducing that you now be able to now apply and then use as guardian. So I've gone actually, to do I say, okay, that's standard number 31, as far as IOB is concerned, went further and give us guidance. That's okay. At what state is Gara, permissible? Yes, at what state that is not permissible? For us to move actually fast, I said, if Gara is not permissible, if it involves an exchange-based transaction, that is, somebody is buying a corn, or you're buying a bag or anything or any item, and somebody is also, paying for it. You can't allow Gara, because you must display what you have, and you must be the one that owns it. You can't just by way of man say, I want to sell certain item to you, and whereas you don't have legal right to it, you cannot even produce it, for that particular person. Say no, say Gara must not be involved, because that is very critical. Because if I sell to you what I did not see, I do not even know that you have legal right to it. At the end of the day, you say, that it's not my own. I will get another one for you, because you have cheated that person. They also have explained that when it's excessive, it should not be allowed, and also say that if Gara, that is authority, actually involved, the primary object of the subject matter of the contract, for example, we say you want to sell fruit that is unripe, you understand, and now said the fruit you are selling, they say it's only the fruit alone. I'm not selling the treat actually with it. How will the person actually be able to now get, if you say, okay, the person you come, but come and pluck your fruit, what I've sold for you, but it's still unripe now. So the tree has to be there for some period for it to actually to germinate further, so that it can turn to a ripe fruit for the person to be able to dispose it of. It give us actually that that condition, the state actually that's for us as guidance for us, so that when we are faces one day-to-day activity, say in the bank, then we have takafu. What I've explained, I said takafu is something that allowed that somebody is donating money, so that for us to assist ourselves, assist a particular brother, inside a particular group. But however, give condition that if peradventure that particular country want to do everything, there is no takafu company at that point in time. Yes, and there is an Islamic bank, and you have a confessional one, but you now go and approach that confessional one. But however, Sharia provision must be complied with, because Sharia because there is no takafu, then the Islamic bank must not operate. Next slide, please. All right. So briefly, I highlighted here, based on what we have discussed earlier, just for it to sync, so that when we put it on our laptop or on our phone or palm phone, and be able to see basic difference between conventional banking and Islamic. So I thought, because there are some people that say some just thing, they say there's no difference between this Islamic finance and something, it's all the same thing. But you'll be able to tell them as a professional, as a Muslim, that say yes, no, there are a lot of different, and be able to explain, which was what necessitated why I had to go through those trouble, see how money is being created, see the garage, so that when you give them the lowdown that these are the basic difference, and somebody will want to pro further, tell me, why do I need to come and patronize the Islamic bank? You understand? You now lie to them. Say that, for example, in conventional banking, they treat money as a commodity. So that's why they are selling money to you now. They tell you, say, without any activity, you say they are doing this, giving you this stuff. Hey, I'll give you 100,000 in a month time, I'll collect 110. Hey, understand? But as far as Islamic banking is concerned, no. What do you want to use that money for? will be for the fourth question. What is that economic activity that actually want to bring that in the money? But I'm sure that if you want to, person want to use it for, you need a generator in your company or something like that, or your house. They will be the one that will buy that generator for you, not giving you money to go and buy it. Yes, and peradventure, if it's where you need money eventually, there will be an underlying action, asset that will back up with. Like in Malaysia, because their major export trade actually is palm kernel fruit. You know, if eventually we need to remember that's what will serve as the underlying asset that will be bought by a bank, by an Islamic bank, and will now actually be disposed, you know, to the customer of the bank. You know, if it's money. So by the time they dispose something now, but they will now actually agree under Murabba that this is the cost price of this one, but this is my profit margin I'm actually adding to it. That's call it cost plus, you know. And this something that is so to you is what you also go and sell back actually as their commodity market, that for you to earn money. No bank will release money direct to you. That asset that you are going to dispose, you know. And meanwhile, another difference is that is the interest, you know, that serve as the basis where the bank actually earn their money. But as far as Islamic bank actually is that exchange of goods, which is actually a source of profit, is where they earn their money. Then the third one actually is that whether the business actually, you know, thrive or it suffers or anything, bank does not actually do. They don't care. They collect it. But as far as Islamic finance is concerned, you know, it is based on concept of profit and loss, you know, so that when loss come, both the bank and the they share it depending on the kind of contract you engage in, you know. And another example, I say cash is disbursed, you know, as far as conventional banking is concerned. But meanwhile, an agreement for exchange of goods, yes, is what is going to actually be disbursed as far as Islamic finance concerned. Because I just explained to you the issue of what operates actually in Malaysia, you know. And in conventional banking, you know, because it is money that is actually being created without any activity. So consequently, it can lead to inflation because more money would have been chasing actually fewer goods. But in Islamic banking, that does not actually happen. Real economic activity is being promoted, and consequently, that one leads to actually to economic development. Next slide, please. In summary, from what we've discussed so far, I believe to an extent I've actually that summary that as you would have observed from all the activities that are prohibited above, no excessive gara, no riba, no pork trading and the rest of it, that if allowed to take place, you agree with that it promotes injustice, unfair dealing. Even those that even eat pork because of being a dirty animal, it will lead to health devices. But however, Mokoti Sharia, which is the objective of Sharia, you know, as Allah said in the Quran, is to promote the welfare of humanity both in this world and the hereafter. The welfare, which is the main goal of Sharia, is the promotion of human well-being in all aspects of life, which encompasses the physical, mental, social, and spiritual dimension. Conclusively, Islamic finance is not primarily for profit, but for promotion of social and human well-being. That is why Islamic finance activity in any form must promote the real economic activity and not just financial activity. As the bank is growing, declining fantastic profit, trading activity too, you know, be in manufacturing, be in agriculture, construction, you know, service and the rest, they will also be growing, and that will impact in the economy. You know, you will see, you have explained a little one on concerning Mudaraba Sheikh contract. By the time we start going to all those contracts, Muraba, Salam, Bay Salam, Musharaka and everything, you will see how those activities are interwoven and now see how they are linked with the economy, you know. But because they are asset back, you see that their production is going on as far as the economy is concerned. So conclusively, you can actually see that Islamic finance is what can actually promote, you know, the economy, you know, better than the conventional finance. Next slide, please. As a takeaway, I want to submit that I believe you will be able to agree with me that from the foundation principle of guiding Islamic finance, it is a better alternative as far as finance is concerned. You know, most of our Islamic finance say alternative banking. But that's why being alternative banking, you know, with all these principles that actually have been followed, that have been stated that for us to, to adhere with. By the time we actually follow that, you see that it is a better and inshallah, without distant time, you will see that Islamic finance, because you see that it's actually growing, that a lot. If we even at present now, you see even those other faiths too, they are embracing actually Islamic finance. For example, actually, it's federal government today now, they have issued that about 7 FGN Sukuk raised over 1 trillion. It's not only Muslims that are partaking there. Even some of people that they are partaking more actually because of some of our Muslim brothers and sisters not having actually details, literacy concerning it. Someone saying that actually advanced to it, and people are seeing that the investment, they are making a lot of money from it. So inshallah, not too long ago, the time Islamic finance will see that is that better alternative that we have been looking for that can develop the economy. I thank you all for listening. Next slide. So it's now for question time. I hope, alhamdulillah, we are within the scheduled time, and we'll give God the glory for His grace. Allah's injunction and protection for everybody, that whatever actually I've said or whatever actually we have committed error, may Allah actually forgive me. But whatever I've said, that has Allah is actually enjoying that. May Allah actually count it as part of reward for you, and reward me actually accordingly. And those of us that are listening to, I want the time, the effort, the time we have sacrificed, what we have actually put in place, this thing, getting data and the rest. Allah should count it as part of your own contribution towards the development of actually Islam. And at the end of the day, what I actually want to see is that which was why we have said that we want to see at least about 200 participants actually joining. At least after this first series, we'll be able to have a lot to gain. But we want a situation where at the end of the day, some of us, even if those who have gotten job before, that we will be able to get a better job as far as Islamic finance industry. But once we have the political side, we already have actually the knowledge, just like what our company stands for. That our force is forced to actually to create that, that awareness, create that opportunity, which is what we are doing. Then the next thing I say for us now, how do we educate people for them to actually to be abreast of what is happening, and present them to the world. Present them not only actually in Nigeria, actually in the world, and everything. Because by the time they are writing our office, they have become, because all of us are members or fellow of our office now. By the time actually we go to our office site or here right now, you see all as fellow of our office. Your office will only display all that. Yes, is a general. Anything that relate to actually the office standard and everything, you can actually be able to ask them. I have satisfied them. They've written my exam and I certified as professional, so they can actually present them to the world. And I see some of us actually, taking our rightful position actually as Muslim, for us to be able to partake, to the contribution of our development of our economy through Islamic finance. Whether I want to join Islamic Bank, I want to join Takafu, I want to join the capital market. And conclusively, I say I want to thank you all. Once again, I say Jazakumullah khairan for listening. It's now question time. Our coordinator, Rashida. So I want you to, so that those that have actually question, you just actually you note them based as they raise their hand, 1, 2, 3, something, so that they actually indicate, you now be calling them one after the other for us to be able to answer, so that we can take their question and I want more questions as those are actually said, so that will give me the assurance that you've actually you've been with me for the last 1.5 hours. May Allah actually help us.
Okay. I see Akimi Yoda first.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Akimi Yoda, give me 1 second. Just a second. 1 second. Not a minute. Bismillah, Hakim, you're down with you.
All right. I came here. That's my name, as you said. My question is, I'm a little bit. When you started, I did
Yeah.
not capture the three principles of the Islamic finance you mentioned. That's my. I just want to brief about it. Then the second question is, are we going to get a material based on this lecture in terms of copy of the, I think, soft copy of the.
Nice. Okay. I've noted your question. Okay. Okay. Should we? Okay. Since we are just two, but let me just ask a quick one. For the Islamic principle, Islamic finance principle, which I highlighted, I said the first one actually, the Islamic finance actually enjoys that. Well, first, riba, it must align with Sharia principle, which comes under provision of there must not be riba, there must not be, you must not finance leather on our harmful product that is called pork and the rest, or alcohol. Then there must not be gara, which is uncertainty. That is excessive one, which is what part of the last one I said. Certain gara will be allowed, but where it affects the subject matter, that somebody actually, okay, you want to sell a particular, you want to sell a fruit on our ripe fruit, and I say the tree is not being sold with it. So how will the fruit become actually become ripe? And I said that as far as Islamic finance is concerned, it involves money is not treated as a commodity, but rather as a change. It must be asset back. That under Islamic finance, economic activity has to involve in trading, buying and selling before it can translate into generation of actually profit. Then it must involve profits and loss sharing. That is, if two parties actually come together, nobody can guarantee that profit will come on, want to guarantee actually the principal. You come together. I made an instance of actually a mudaraba, where two people come, somebody is donating an expertise while the other person is donating money. They come together. They agree that by the time we actually finish this actually business, when profits come, we share at this ratio. But peradventure, if the business did not go the way it's supposed to go, the person that donated money, which is Roboma, will lose that money as he has donated. Why the person, the time, the energy that he used to run around to do the business succeed, he will lose that. But however, if there is proven evidence of negligence on the part of that particular Mudari, that he was careless for that business to fail, then the Robuma is entitled to collect the money. And I also said about risk sharing. But by the time you are engaging in Islamic finance, or actually banking or like Takafu, or you are sharing risk, unlike a conventional bank where risk are just being transferred. I just give you money. Whether your business succeed or it doesn't succeed, I must make sure that if we sell 2 months, I say you should pay 100. If I give you 100,000, by 2 months, I want to collect 110,000. Whether your business succeed or it doesn't succeed, or armed robber attack you, I don't want to know. 110, I must collect it in 2 months' time. But eventually, you don't pay at 2 months, I start charging penalty. But Islamic finance is not like that. So those are the basic difference. And the second one, if I actually concerning the slide, inshallah, through the coordinator, will send the slides to you. And I believe actually a lot of you actually have registered actually with them. They have actually your record, your email and everything. By the time we'll send the slide to them, they will share with everybody. Thank you.
Munira, Dende. Is Munira here? Okay. While we wait for Munira, let me see. You are muted, so in case you are trying to talk, we can't hear you. Okay, so while we wait for her, there is Ridwan Adewi. Ridwan Adewi.
Okay, Liru and you are straight his hand. I think you can unmute him.
Me? I don't think. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, all right. You have the floor. Everyone are doing.
Assalamu
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My name is Ivan Lai Ajoyi. I'm from Milan. My
Okay.
question goes that what is the minimum and maximum interest in Islamic finance? That is one. I hope
Sorry, I
you get
didn't
my
know.
question.
Sorry, what's the
What is the minimum and maximum interest in Islamic finance?
minimum and maximum interest?
Yes,
Interest as in usury, right?
yes.
All right, okay.
And what will be the benefit of the EU with the expenses? E.g.,
It's like you appear very benefit of who?
are you getting my question, sir?
No, I didn't get your question. You said benefit of
The benefit, the funder, maybe the Islamic finance, the CEO, what are the own benefits with the interest of Islamic finance? Should I move on?
yeah.
With the expenses like the injury of the expenses like the accommodation and salary of the workers.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
That is that.
All right. Is that all?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can mute yourself. Let me quickly actually address it. Yeah. For the first question, asking for inquiring of minimum and maximum interest. Just as I rightly explained, as far as Islamic finance is concerned, we do not deal with interest. What we will share is profit. It's only in the conventional banking that issue of interest is being actually applicable. Right. But however, we'll have actually seen certain actually instances where in the competition of profit, because somebody, if you have actually come across, if you are the type actually that have actually been engaged in Islamic banking activity before, where you have actually come on, you will have actually have somebody that bought a property, bought actually a particular goods that want to sell. Will have said actually that okay, well, okay, this is the base. How do I determine the profit I want to actually to earn? And we'll ask, okay, what is the basis that okay, a baseline of actually after interest actually is this, because assuming that this my money I did not engage in that activity, but the bank actually will now involve that okay, they want to give you the you do not the money I want to give you, you are not engaging in there's no collateral. They will now calculate what we call as weighted risk-weighted average on that particular customer, and now determine that also without actually being noted, they also determine to their own markup, which is actually the profit. That how do they want to meet up their operational expenses? Not as in say the whole salary of and all the officers that work, we have to now okay for rates. Okay, this my officer. I have calculated his charge out time. Okay, in interaction, this person will spend like maximum of say 2 or 3 hours as a basic actually with you before it can be concluded, or 20 minutes. Charge out to this. We now do that. Okay, this is my operational head. I'm going to meet and now conclude that well. The profit rate, first of all, that are going to come with this particular one, but it's not. It doesn't have actually a fixed amount That is, you have actually a minimum amount because it's out of trading activity is what you are actually engaging in. You cannot, even that particular one actually, as far as Sharia is concerned, it should not be even be guaranteed, because you will always just determine that yes, this is the profit from this transaction that asset I'm selling to you. If you go to the market, this is how much you understand. Those that are selling it to, this is what actually they normally usually gain. And I actually do my calculation and people have that what they gain out of it is close to 20% or 30%, or this and I say, okay, well, my own I'm selling to you, because I've seen some people need to engage there to do it. This is my profit rate for people to now, and people now partner together for you people to now do the business. So it is the risk, what come of that particular activity that will determine, whether that profit will be earned or not. So the issue of interest, that's what we've been one of the items that has been prohibited as far as Islamic concern. That's why we don't call even where bank actually give what bank give actually under Muraba is financing, not loan. We call it actually financing because it's profits that comes out of it. So I hope I've answered your question. Then the second one, when you say the benefits, what benefits comes with the CEO and other staff? Just as I explained the first item, when bank is computing that, assuming you approach the bank, let's say, for example, the activity is Murabaha, for example, which I've explained, that the bank want to finance you. I said the bank will actually buy assets. For example, in Malaysia, they have actually in the capital market, they have palm kernel, because that is one of the major items they export, the fruit, export that is actually the business asset that is being back, that will be bought. The bank will have that say, okay, this particular amount, the amount to use to buy this particular asset, right? What is the baseline? Vis-a-vis the profits, having make inquiry, those actually the market. This is the baseline. By the time actually they make the amount, when compute into percentage, it amounts to say X percentage, 10%. Then the bank will now also calculate that this person, I'm actually buying this product to under Muraba, and I've actually added this is actually my profit. What collateral is the person actually giving to me to be able to now, because the money I've is from counterparty. You now do what we call risk-weighted actually average to assess how am I exposed, to that particular common. Does the customer even has expertise in this particular business you want to do before? That's where after selling the asset, you don't see how much. So that will determine your risk-weighted average that you want to attach and say, okay, 50% of this particular ratio, 0.5% you want to add it to our amount. That will now determine that one added together, and with your overhead. Under the overhead, that is what comes with my staff that are going to engage in this activity, by way of whether filling the form or going through the form or processing it or carry out the activity or anywhere. So the overhead, what percentage of it am I going to add to it that will now determine this is my profit rate. So it is that profit rate that will come together from that particular risk activity. It is from there, from that profit rate, that the bank will now be able to pay their staff, whether CEO or operation or branch manager, and that's where you are going to earn money. Because I understand that, because some people will start wondering that how do Islamic bank, how do they make their money? They make their money actually through profits, because they are engaging in trading and activity, and from that particular cash profit, money that comes, calculation actually will have been done. By the time we get to a calculation of how they actually agree about the profit rate, you will appreciate it for that. At the end of the interest, the money that will come once the person that have actually giving financing to actually engage in the money actually that have actually come. Part of it is what they will use to produce, to buy assets, will pay to their salary, and they will still remain afloat, while some will still be retained. But because they don't collect interest, but they collect profits. So banks will still also make money, and economic activity is still being promoted. I hope I've answered your question.
Okay, so Munira is back. If you want to try again.
All right, no problem. Munira, you want to say? Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Sorry, Munira.
My question.
Sorry, I mean 1 minute. It's like Brother, we want still want to.
Yes,
I've not
sir.
finished. Okay, not finished question. So, Sister Munira, just please step down for a few seconds. Let's hear Brother 3-1.
Sir,
Okay,
I
yes.
just want to add is that so I want just to know the difference between Islamic finance and microfinance.
Okay, all right. Let me quickly actually answer that. Okay, is that the only one? Okay, yeah.
And the second question is, what is the difference between profit and interest?
Okay, all right. Quick one. Let me start from the one that the last one you everything. Interest is being collected by a professional bank or professional finance. Those that engage in professional, but why profit is what is being earned as far as Islamic finance is concerned. We don't deal with God Allah through Sharia as prohibited interest. And the difference is that those that collect interest, they are taking money as a commodity. That's why they are collecting interest. But under Islamic finance, we collect profit because money is only treated as a means of exchange, while an asset, buying and selling of assets that determine whatever we earn as profit. Then the second one, actually, you ask, I say, difference between Islamic finance and Islamic microfinance. Under Islamic finance, when I categorize for you as major thing, we have Islamic banking, capital market, and Takafu, which is actually insurance. Then under Islamic banking, commercial bank, we now have categories of bank. The smallest among them is the microfinance. Yes, sir. But it has to be Islamic microfinance, not just microfinance. Conventional bank can still engage. We still have conventional conventional microfinance, in which all the activity they will be doing is in line with what operates in conventional banks, collecting of interest. But under Islamic bank too, we also have Islamic microfinance bank will be explicitly stated that their own is Islamic. So whatever, once they say it is Islamic, whatever they want to actually to deal with will be devoid of interest, but rather they will be dealing with property. I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
All
sir.
right.
But I think let me let others to continue because
Okay.
let me keep my questions so that I'm getting something from what you are saying, sir. And I still have a lot of questions to ask.
No
And
problem.
because I have a lot of something to know about what is Sharia talk about microfinance and Islamic institutions.
Okay.
And the Islamic finance. Thank
No
you,
problem.
sir. Let me
Continue to put them down and we will attend to others. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry, Sister Munirat, sorry for the earlier interruption. You have the floor now.
Now, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
I want to know because you said something concerning risk sharing and profit sharing.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit confused. In a
Okay.
situation whereby two people put their resources together
Yeah.
with the motive of maybe making profits, and
Yes.
then peradventure they run at loss,
Yeah.
I want to know how would they go about it? Because initially, when they set up the business, they
Yeah.
would have had a profit sharing ratio. So I
Yeah.
want to know how they are going to go about that kind of situation, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. In response to your question, let me quickly actually explain it through an Islamic contract, Mudaraba. When two people come together, I give an example. I say somebody say, okay, well, one approach, somebody says it's a capital, it's an experienced capital for us to be practical as a case study so that it will be able to sink. And I said, somebody has requested that, yeah, if you can produce a kitchen cabinet, certain size, this and everything, I'm going to buy it at this so rate. Then me or Sister Munirat now come as a woman, as an investor. You now approach a capital very close to you or something. Say, yeah. So this advertisement that somebody is saying that if you can give me this kitchen cabinet, do it specification, this and everything now, this is what I'm going to pay for it. You now approach the person. Look at this catalog. can you do this something? And because it's an expert in that particular field, yes, I will be able to actually be able to do it. You now bring money. You yourself, you put money down. Say how much you actually will be able to say, for my expertise, we need a mahogany tree. I want to buy inches. I will buy this or something and everything. I end of the day, put it there. When I put it, this of the cabinet, all what you are going to spend might be say 20,000. At the end of the day, by the time we are doing to this person, it might be 10,000 you are doing there. So 10,000 is our profit. We share it. The first actually issue is that two of them are coming together. You understand? They come to partner. They agree that when profits come, we are going to share
Please,
it.
I can't
right?
hear you, sir. I can't hear you.
Hello?
Yes, we can
Hello,
hear
can you
you.
hear
It's
me now?
probably your network, Sister Amina.
Okay. So when profits come, they say we are going to share it. 10,000 is going to come now. Two of us, you are the rubber man that put down money. Don't worry, you will collect 60%, I will collect 40%. We are fine. But at that point in time, that the person is putting down money and the other one, both of them are taking risk. Part of the risk is that we have financial risk, environmental risk, market risk, and even credit risk. Let's say, for example, let me even compete about a credit risk. What if, after giving the capital money, and only God knows, something happened to the capital, he had to spend the money, he cannot buy the material. You know, you can't lead to production. You cannot actually be able to produce anything I say afterward. That's partially first risk. The person that put that in the money, because they are into business, he can't tell the capital to give me guarantee now. Because they are into partnership. You understand? Because you first need to put trust on that capital. Say, I have seen you produce cabinet before, and the person says, I can still do this one. What I've seen in catalog, you are taking actually a risk on that particular one. And the person too, the capital too want to sit down, do this, arithmetic and all do something, carry that thing. What if, after all, by the time I do this work, do all this effort, after all, the person that put the money, maybe it's the one that will provide all the details that will pay to. What if after collecting money, he did not give me the money? But he's also taking risk now. And he will also order some other work supposed to have used that time he used to do. He will abandon them and face this work to make sure that, yes, they deliver on time. He's taking risk because he doesn't know whether that profit they agree in the first instance will come. So they are come together. Or what if they finish producing? He created the time, do the finance, do have to provide the money, and at the end of the day, the guy that did that advertisement says, I'm sorry, I think I have an emergency, I have to leave the country. I don't think I need the kitchen cabinet at all. But meanwhile, they will be looking for somebody else that will come and that they will sell the property to them. They've taken that it's risky. But all those risks, or even they produce the cabinet before they go and deliver. Armed robbers came to the shop of the capital and come and steal it. Or along the line, that's the risk. Along the line, capital naturally is working. Mistakenly, he caught his hand. He cannot continue the work again. Consequently, he cannot be delivered at the right time. Those are the risks he has had. Or at the end of the day, issue of market risk. Item they have listed before, they say it's going to be 2 naira, while they calculate at 20%, and they are going to make 20,000 naira. They are doing 10,000. All of a sudden, something don't happen in the market. What they thought 20,000 naira will finish is now going to cost 10,000 naira. Meanwhile, they are giving commitments. That's the market risk. So they are taking risk because nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. So at that point in time, all of them are sharing that risk. That's why and that's what Islamic finance actually is all about. What they encourage, what Allah encourage, you share risk. So that all of you, two of you will always be minded and say, this business, if it's going to be prayer, whatever, any effort that you want to make sure that you succeed, you share the risk with them. And meanwhile, you also agree that, yes, when the profit come, we are going to make sure that, okay, this particular profit, this is how we are going to actually be able to now do to share it. Because at the end of the day, profit cannot come. And the robber man say, I'm the one that provide money. I say, okay, I'm going to collect all the money, or I'll just give you, mobilize you, because it has to be pre-agreed. People say, yeah, this is what I'm putting down there. This time I'm using to produce this your cabinet I want to go and everything. I could have wished to have done certain stool or something like that. This is water. So you can't collect actually particular money and not say, say it's now, that's why it has to be pre-agreed. So that it will not lead to dispute, element of gather will not come there, will have agreed that, because of effort from that 10,000 naira, I'm giving you 20,000 naira, from 10,000 naira profit, you are collecting 2,000, I'm collecting 8,000, or you are collecting 30,000 or 4,000 out of them, it will been agreed. So this is, and meanwhile, with all this activity, economic activity is being promoted because the capital will go to where you want to buy the plank. Plank seller will benefit. Where you went to go and buy polish seller will benefit. Where you went to go and buy nail seller will benefit. Economic activity, that will lead to development of that in the country, it's been actually be enhanced. So that's why it's Islamic finance. And I hope with this, you are clear now as far as the two concepts of risk sharing and profit sharing.
Now, just have clear answer. It's well understood.
All right, thank you. Who is the next person?
Brother Abdullah Kim Salaudin.
You have the floor.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Salaudin Abdulakim. I'm calling from Buhari, Abuja.
Okay.
My question is just about the Usha riba. I say riba divided to money and goods. So under the goods, I have a rice in my house, SS rice, and my neighbor has beans. He too have SS beans. Can we exchange based on agreement that I have rice and I need beans? You too have beans, you need rice. So can we exchange? The Islamic allow that? Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Simply put, if you must exchange, you exchange for equal quantity. One tin of beans will be equal to 1 tin of rice. That's what Islam actually says. So if you want to exchange it, 1 tin of beans will now be exchanged for 1 tin of rice. But argument will come. It's like rice is more expensive than particular beans. Why do you want to say? Almost actually I like that. If you what need now, if you cannot do it for equal value, then in that way, what you do is that you sell your own rice first, get money, and use it to buy beans from your neighbor. That's what Rasulullah actually told Umar bin Khattab. When actually you want to actually engage such a matter, say I need this particular product, and I now want to use the money to buy actually us. He said, okay, well, this particular one, because the issue of the person will not allow actually the same quantity, to be exchanged. He say, my own product is more quality. Allah says, this is your own justification and assessment that that yours is quality. It's also human interpretation that says that rice is more expensive than beans. What if it might not be because of production? It might be just because of middlemen. That's why rice is more expensive. So if you want to exchange, then you give it for equal at that end. I give you one tin of rice, and I will actually collect back 1 tin of beans from you. But if you cannot do that, sell your rice, get your money, and use the money to actually buy beans from your neighbor. Thank you.
Sorry, Assalamu alaikum. Can we do it in value-wise? Can we do it in value-wise? Maybe we calculate that 3 mudu of rice is 3,000 naira. 3 mudu of beans is 3,500 naira. Now, and I calculate that.
I'm with you. Assalamu alaikum.
His network may have gone.
Okay, it's network. Okay. My brother,
now,
the reason why you cannot do it that way is wa alaikum salam. Do you want me to respond? Okay, the reason why you cannot do that, the reason why you cannot do that way is that can bring argument later. The first thing I say, that valuation you have done for me, I don't think that valuation is right. And Islam does not want anything that will bring dispute, except it's a valid sale that is being concluded. If you produce, if you know that that your rice, this amount is worth more than your base, sell that your rice first, and now use your money that you earn because one transaction has been concluded. But you don't do by bartering, and somebody now say my own rice is 3 times worse than the value of your own base, because it will bring to argument. And one of the things Islamic financially prohibits is that it doesn't want on Ghana or something that will bring dispute. That somebody will come later, say, this valuation you did to me, it's like you cheat me. I got to somewhere else, and the person actually says, no, that it's not like that. But if it's buying and selling, you can verify that your rice that you want to sell, when you go to the market, the person can verify from third party or the market and say, they are selling one mudu or one tin of rice is for 2 naira. Okay, I'm selling you, okay, I collect my 2 naira. That national sales and purchase has been concluded. You have your 2 naira. The year your 2 naira, you now use to buy beans that you need. Chicken, with that, there won't be any dispute that can come, whether now and later. So that's what Islamic finance actually enjoy. You're welcome, my brother. Next person, please.
That's everything. Brother Ridwan's hand still has his hands raised, so I'm not sure if he wants to go again or something.
Okay, let's hear him. Let's hear him if he still so that this for the commission to be effective, so that the recipient actually is satisfied. Yeah, Bismillah, brother Ridwan.
Hi.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'm really appreciate this, sir. Thanks for the lecture for today. I think I should keep my questions in another day because I'm not fully prepared for any other questions again for now.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other person?
There's nobody that has their hands raised, so.
Okay. All right. Okay. I want to comment. How many of us were able to join today? Admin, you have an idea? Okay. 11, right?
9 people.
Okay, nine people then 2 of them. So just as I said on the platform before that we expect that at least 2 of us will join, 200 of us at least will join, so that at least as Muslim brothers and sisters will be able to take our rightful position. For those of us that have attended the first lecture series, I want to give you people that assignment that you should actually tell others, what they stand to gain if they actually acquire this particular knowledge, so that you be the source of that publicity to them, so that they can join, because we want to promote the Muslim actually economy, to make sure that our Muslim brothers and sisters too, they are able to, because the opportunity abounds as far as this Islamic finance is concerned. And if for us, for me to actually to be able to buttress this, I told you earlier when we were about to comment that we had during the week, is it Tuesday or Wednesday, that NUC had approved, that Islamic economics and finance should not be run actually as an undergraduate course at a BSc level. You agree with me before, actually in the country where we actually have is that only 2 or 3 institutions that actually have actually at BM level. We go to BUK, University of actually Duce, and one national university. Even that too is also by correspondence. Actually they do professional study in the Islamic. But because they realize that how the Islamic finance has been able to turn around the Nigerian economy, it's through the product of Islamic finance that the country actually, the economic think tank, they were able to manage and pay down the IMF loan that Nigeria has within less than 2 years. you are able to pay something down, and to the extent that we now have huge amount of money as far as reserve actually is concerned, because they've actually seen that as far as Islamic finance is concerned, both Muslim and Christian, because they see that it's allowed, it doesn't allow people to cheat any other person. So they also partake that whatever any investment, and it also promotes economic activity. I gave an instance actually earlier that the first sukuk, some of us have heard about sukuk, we will treat down one other Islamic capital market. That federal government first issued sukuk, that's 2017. Even the first sukuk that was issued in Nigeria was 2013. That's for two state government then, when they want to finance schools and build infrastructures. So by 2017, federal government has been issued till today, they've issued over 1 trillion, in dollar worth of actually of sukuk, and everything has been oversubscribed, because people have seen that what comes under Islamic finance is ethical, because people want to engage in something that will not only any profit, but they also earn reward from God, and at the end of the day, they will be contributing to development of their country. They are participating actually in it. Every time they bring out subscription, it's only oversubscribed. People keep on actually engaging actually in that to subscribe, for them to appreciate that the beauty of Islamic finance. And federal government has seen that it's a way of, that instead of them to start saying this from their allocation, that they want to start building bridges or something like that, without under Islamic finance, they don't come under actually, product contract called actually Ijara. People that contribute good money, they are the one that own, that road, that bridge they want to use to construct, because federal government must first transfer ownership to them by way of only, having an SPV, which is actually everything. They transfer, investor own it. They now lease it to federal government that over time you will pay me down, and they are giving them a very huge amount of profit rate. So to let them know, if stay to also Islamic Bank, you see that more 5 has come up, but more are still coming. But yet they are still saying that we do not see our Muslim brothers and sisters for them to partake. However, people of other faith are partaking actually in it, and that's the people that even did not when we talk of Sharia, they will only just learn, because they might not, some of them, they don't want to convert to say want to start reading Quran or to go and read hadith, but because they see that opportunity abounds as far as Islamic finance is concerned. The capital market is there, the banking is there, Takafu is there. I know someone can even be a part of our bill Saka when they actually understand that Islamic finance, under Islamic finance, those that Allah refers as a billion aliyah as far as social finance is concerned, it's only when they know about it. So enjoying them, get rich as cause to them, that we want more people to join. The mandate actually we have, and what our conviction, that we have, and mission that we have as far as KTAAM Islamic financing and concern that we have, is that we want to show we are in less than 2 years, we want to be able to produce 200 professionals. I hope you certified, inshallah, by the grace of God. But this is just the foundation. But once you know this basic, gradually we start going to the contract, we start going to actually how to now be able to train you, how to actually be able to actually attempt and pass those professional exam, so that conveniently when banks as they are coming up, the request, I would say the advert yesterday, every day keep on coming, but when they don't see it, even some that just look at, well, okay, those that have done conventional banking before, okay, once they just come, once we are not seeing the Islamic finance expert, once they just come, we'll come and train them. They will approach us as a consultant. Okay, come and train that for them, and that's why this opportunity, the seniors are not seeing, those actually from the Muslim faith, so Islamic faith. So I enjoy us be that part of the agent of change, to see actually get across to them, for them to be able to join, so that at least by the time we want to do the next episode, inshallah, let's lecture series, we have close to 100, if no more than 100. If it's 200, we actually become accommodate. So at the end of the day, just as I actually said, this is our mission actually will be able to accomplish. I thank you all for your time, for your contribution, and for your engagement. May Allah reward each and every one of us. Wa alaikum salam to them.
Sorry for interrupt. I just have one observation based on some of the comments you made last.
All right.
Actually, I market for Takafu Insurance.
Okay.
So, but my observation in terms of the Islamic insurance banking
Yeah.
is that our people that are opening it, they are not being deliberate in terms of bringing on board our Muslim brothers. Because if they are deliberate,
Yeah.
they cannot still be setting the same standard that the conventional are setting in bringing on board workers. What I mean is, I've experienced Taj Bank, other Islamic banks, when they are doing recruitment, you see them still putting age of 26 years or 30 years or thereabout, not looking at the quality or the intention of bringing on board a Islamic brother. And this is the reason why they are now bringing on non-Muslim are dominating that banks. Some of them are also many are also considering the money that some of investors, because we see that even non-Muslim are also investing in Islamic banking more than even
Mm.
sometimes more than even Muslim. They are using it to now bring on board. That's why when you enter Islamic bank today, you
Yeah.
may find out that you have non-Muslim in their cashiers, in their workers than Muslims. I think I'm just saying this. If you have your way, please let there deliberate effort in bringing. We have many people that are open, they are looking for job as a Muslim brothers, but when you are still setting the same standard that the conventional are setting, and it must be 30 years, must be 20 something years, this and that, even when they are even experienced, they will still use that age to send them away, or they are using some other backdoor issue of maybe they have more investors. They recruit true investors, because that's what conventional banks do. The larger investors can bring any of their boys, and they will ask, even that one, even if it's not qualified. We see that this is also happening in Islamic setting, thereby sending many of our Muslim brothers and sisters away from picking this job. Because it's not that Muslim brothers and sisters are not available for this job. That's because I'm into the system more than
Okay.
6-7 years ago now. That's
Okay.
what we are experiencing. So please, if there is any way, we still need to be deliberate, make more efforts.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you for that question. Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay. Wa alaikum salam. All right.
Sir, I just want to say something concerning the low audience, sir.
Okay.
Because a friend of mine sent the link to me, and the criteria for joining the group stated that they must be a NASFAT member. I have friends that are into finance, accounting, and all, but they might feel it is just limited to NASFAT members. I just hope they can do something about it so that they'll be able to join and benefit from this opportunity too, sir.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Let me at least since your own question is just let me start from the rear. I will engage the Amir, actually, the youth Amir, and I'll see how they can actually amend their provision so that a lot of Muslims also should be able to. Maybe, although we started actually from NASFAT, I'm college. I'm talking to you. I'm also a member of NASFAT, and so for a lot of our Muslims to be able to engage and benefit more. But what is most important that okay, let's spread Islam, and so I will engage in. As for now, then for my brother, what we have actually raised is actually very germane. It was because one of the reasons why we decided to go into actually this dawa is this, because I've had calls to I had interaction with some of these executive, both at Takafu and those at even the capital market, and those that Islamic capital market actually company. We have Marble Trust, Capital Limited, and so we have New Takafu, all do something. I have a couple of actually their chairman and the MD, something like. Some of them actually are personal friend that we someone who drawn confessional banking actually before together. And also Islamic banking to add cost to interact, which actually their MDs too and the rest. I quite actually agree with you, but you just actually said that because of the criteria that actually they said, and they said there some of us, okay, because it's actually 30 years, some cannot qualify. And that's why we are starting from scratch now to make sure that let's create that particular awareness so that people will get to know on time. Even some who are actually, as soon as they finish their university first, so that they can meet that their criteria they want to set and get qualified. And peradventure, where they said somebody at 30 years that's able to have the experience, the qualification that person actually has, because ordinarily they should be able to get somebody who's experienced, who will be able to project their product and be able to to sell it well for them. But I'm not ruling out, because in conventional banking too, I know there are certain recruitment too. When we are doing that, they know that they recruit some people, as far as the investors that brought in actually money, those that mobilize more actually deposit, or those that actually invest more, that decide to say this is my candidate, or something like that. You need to fit what they are making up. We can't rule it out, but we'll continue to engage them to make sure that a lot of people embrace Islamic finance because that they believe that it's follow Sharia, and they should make sure they distinct themselves from what conventional does, so that let them be able to do ethical banking that follow governance. By governance, I mean that where you recruit the best, that will project, that will practice Islamic finance as it's supposed to be, and that will project actually Islam, that will even help you propagate a sustainable finance as enshrined by Ashima Teller. So with that constructive engagement, I know that we will get there. What you have said is not out of place. I know that it normally actually exists. And even some of them behind the scene, they'll give what they are not seeing professional coming on board, which is why some of us decided to say no, we must bridge that particular gap to make sure that we have this one, and let them know that for us to sustain Islamic finance, banking, takafu, and the rest, they have to follow ethics. It has to be ethical, so that they do not go the way of conventional banking or professional finance, because a lot of people, even some of people are complaining now, even we've had where people say that they don't see any difference between conventional practice and Islamic something, because Islamic finance, banking, and tradition, they did not distinct themselves, agree to go organically, that they are just starting. Traditional banking, conventional banking, started actually for years. Yes, it's just starting now. They should be able to take that and say, yes, we should grow. And CBN has been very magnanimous to them, where they are giving the conventional banking products, those that have established actually before. This calculation they are doing there, where they are giving for those that want to have national license, go and raise 200 billion. For those that actually, if you want to do international, go and raise 500 billion. But as far as Islamic bank is concerned, it's just 20 billion they are requesting for them, because they appreciate that they are just coming on board. So they should not follow the way of conventional banking that they want to be competing with them, but rather they should follow the ethics, so that they will be distinct and as done by in other climes in the whole world, in Malaysia, in Saudi, in Bahrain, and all the rest, so that I hope standards are being followed. So I think when they want to point out, they will say, yes, Islamic finance actually is being practiced as supposed to be, as far as Nigeria is concerned. And Nigeria, we are giant of Africa. We should be seen to be a leader. So I note your comment, and we will not relent our effort. We will continue to actually engage all the stakeholders to make sure that we achieve the desired result. May Allah help us. Thank you. Is there any other question? Assalamu alaikum. Are we still there?
I don't think there's anything else.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Rashida,
we are done, sir.
okay, you are done. Rashida, do you have anything? Anything to say, or you want to any
No.
remark? No, okay, everything. So can I call on anybody who's led by the by spirit to give us a closing dua, and while we adjourn till next week, inshallah. Because that. Any brother, any volunteer?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Amen.
Almighty Allah, for today's study, Almighty Allah, increase our knowledge in this. Almighty Allah, guide our lecturer today, our facilitator, and all our leader in this case. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-aliyyil azim. Bismillah inhatayna.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna hatayna qad kawsara. Wasallallahu bika wa niha. Inna shani'aka huwa.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for that closing dua. And without much ado, if there's no other thing, I hereby request that we adjourn this meeting to the next week, inshallah. And Allah spare our life beyond next week. I thank you all for your attendance.
I mean,
Thank you all. You're welcome.